Hello everyone, this is DZ Maven here, and it's time for another Gunpla review. And today I'm taking a look at the Master Grade RX-79G ground type Gundam. Now this kit came out in the year 2000, actually more specifically of May 2000, so it's a pretty old kit, especially by today's standards here, but I think it's still a pretty neat looking kit. And let's get into it. So here it is standing up for you here, and I'll get this guy spinning around here for you here so you can look at it from all the different sides here. Now I don't have any equipment on it right now because there is a lot of stuff that goes on this kit. Just kind of won't let you look at the kit, what it's like out of the box, basically, with some panel lining and some stickers on it. So yeah. But this kit overall, this kit actually kind of made a big deal when it first came out, and there are a couple things about this kit that kind of broke new ground in the Master Grade line, I would say. First off, this was supposedly one of the first kits that actually had a bit of a detailed internal frame parts on it. Now this kit does not have a full inner frame, but it does have some inner frame that runs through the arms and the legs. The joints utilize, there's actually a lot of screws in this kit. It uses screws in the joints, I believe, definitely in the elbows and in the shoulder area. I don't recall if there's screws in the knee joints, but I know there are screws in the arms on this. The other big deal about this kit is this is also one of the first kits that would actually pull off I would like to say a natural kneeling pose. It was kind of possible to make some older kits before this kneel, but they didn't do so very well, or they didn't do it in a way that seemed very natural or realistic looking. This kit was probably one of the first ones that was actually able to pull that off. And part of the reason is that they actually incorporated multiple joints inside the hip area. Now I can show you here. Flip this up. Turn that off. But there is a swinging hip inside of here, and this is one of the first kits I can recall that actually has a swinging hip joints in it. But basically that helps articulate and get the leg to kick forward a lot further than most other kits could before it. But let me get you a little bit of a closer look here at this kit here. I would still say that even today, this Master Grade still looks very good, just out of the box. I mean, the detail level and the colors on it, and proportions and shape of things, I still think this holds up pretty good, even against kits today. There's a lot of fine details all over this kit here, and it's just really nice looking, just standing there and straight out of the box here. Lots of little panel lines all over it here. You can kind of detail up to your desire here on this here. Going a little bit on the bottom of the feet there. But I'd say overall this is a very good looking kit. But things start to go a little bit downhill with articulation on here. I do have a couple gripes about the articulation on this kit, despite how good looking it is here. As you can see here on the head here, it can rotate around and can kind of look up and down a little bit here. There's no problem there. The head is pretty good. It's on a little ball joint. And the shoulders here, not really too much shoulder movement here. Doesn't really go back and forth that much on it. But the arm can bend up about that far on here and can, of course, rotate around, and it rotates at the cuff right here. Now the elbows, you can get plenty more than a 90-degree bend out of here, which is really nice for this kit here. And again, there are screws inside of this elbow and the shoulder. You can tighten those up if you want to have this guy hold something heavy in his hand out, or he is still going to droop inside the shoulder here, inside this joint here, because that's a ball joint right there. But there is a screw up inside of here, but you can tighten those up or loosen those up as much as you want. In the waist here, not a whole lot of articulation in the waist. I mean, it can turn around, kind of dip around, but not too much going on here. And I kind of wish there was more going on here, because like I said, there's not an internal frame inside the torso here. It's mostly just structural and empty space inside the torso here, so there's an area here where I feel like this kit could be improved, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit more at the end here. There is a cockpit hatch that opens up right here, your little pilot figure. If you have your Shiro Amada figure or whatever member of the 08th MS team you want, can sit in there. And there's also this, let's see if I can grab it, this little thing here, right here, pops up. This is where the little, the ladder, or the, I don't know what you want to call it, the winch that the pilots can grab onto to carry them up to the cockpit area. That's what this little thing is right there. So pretty nice they have that on here. There's all these little things on the this sort of asymmetrical detail on the front torso here. I really like this. You got your vent on this side, and there's a machine gun, and there's this multi-purpose tube launcher on this side. In addition, there's another hole here, which I think might just be a flashlight or something on here, because I do recall there was some sort of light on the ground Gundam on the torso inside on one of the episodes of the 08 MS team. But continuing with articulation here, you already saw the side skirts down here. These flip up. Side ones, they won't go up too high, but they do have this ammo clip that's on the waist armor right here, if I can pull it off. Right there. That'll go with the machine gun, which I'll show you in a moment here. The legs, I already showed you, can swing up like that way, and there's this movable hip in here. The knee bend is about that much. I kind of wish it was more, but you get just about a 90-degree bend out of the knee here. I mean, it's adequate enough to pull off some poses here, but I do kind of wish it was a bit more there, but that's all you're going to get. Now this little piece on the front of the knee here, this is kind of interesting here. It kind of slides up a little bit, and you can kind of flex it around a little bit, and not really sure what purpose this serves, but this can move around just a little bit, and then you can just push it back in to keep it in place here. So again, it's nice little detail, but I don't know what purpose this really serves here. So you can kind of move it back a little bit to make it flatter, but it doesn't really go back that far. So not really sure why you have that there, but whatever. There is a hatch here for the beam sabers. This slides down really nicely here. You have to be careful, I know, when putting this together, because there's like these little thin pieces on this hinge here, and they can sometimes pop off if you mess with this too much, and then you gotta kind of fidget around with this and get these back on again. But it's not that hard to deal with, and your beam saber is just kind of sitting right inside of there, nicely stowed up. And on to the feet here. The feet are just one piece here. It's not a two-piece foot systems here, so it's just one solid foot piece here. Ankle armor could move a little bit here, and the foot side to side about that much. Not really too much, but it's enough for the posing, I'd say. And can bend forward pretty good, and back only about that much here. Doesn't really go back that far here, but I guess for what it is, it's kind of enough, I would say. Now one of the gripes I do kind of have about this kit here are these hands. And put this back on again. So this is the old 3-finger, index finger, thumb hands that you see on older master grades. And my issue really is not really so much with those. It's just that these hands really have a hard time gripping the weapons that come with this kit here. They're probably okay with the beam sabers, but the two guns you get with it really has a hard time holding them, and I'll demonstrate that in a bit. The other problem is that the ball joint on the wrist here is very shallow, and the hands don't really have a whole lot of range before they pop right off. And this is probably my biggest gripe with this kit, is that these hands, they will pop off way too easily. Especially when you're trying to pose this thing with the guns and the big cannon. You try and get it posed just right, and it's like, hand pops off. And you gotta get the hand back in again. That is a huge gripe I have with this kit here. But yeah, the hands kind of suck on here. Backpack. This is a special kind of backpack. You probably are already aware of this, but you can stick basically the large container on the back of this, and you do get that with this kit. It opens up like so. There should technically be some red inside the thruster here. I just never bothered to paint that in. This will expand down a little bit here to accommodate the container. It's kind of a clicky ratchet, just kind of have to really pull on it. The ones up top here should move down a little bit when it's folded up, but I cannot get them to move on mine for whatever reason, and I don't want to try and force it because I'm worried I might break these. So they are forever in the up position on mines. So your mileage may vary if you get this kit and put the backpack together. You might not be able to move these things because I cannot move them on mine. They are like really stuck in place on mine. So, and again, I don't want to force them because I might break them. So, okay, so I'm talking about the extras here. First one we get obviously is this is the 100mm machine gun that comes with the ground type Gundam. I really like the look of this gun. I think this is a really nice looking little basic machine gun. It has a little bit of a folding stock that comes out like so, if you want to have it posed like that. And there's a support grip that kind of flips out on the side right there. So, and the ammo pack will come off if you want to have to take it off for some reason. So I think it's a pretty nice looking gun. Like I mentioned with the hands here, this Gundam does not hold its weapons very well, and I'll try and demonstrate that with this here. See if I can get it in there. Get index finger around there. Good. So, and let's see, it's kind of on there right now. If I mess with it or tap it, yeah, he falls out of hand really easily. So, kind of again from the other side here, you can see how he's holding it. You have to kind of get it just right in order to get to hold the weapon straight. Because if you mess with this just a little bit, boom, that happens. He's now holding his gun limp-wristed. So that doesn't look very good or Gundam-like at all. So yeah. Other weapon we get is the beam rifle. Technically, this should have a white color on it. This top part of the beam rifle should be painted white if you want to make it look correct here. This is gray plastic, and that's kind of a pain in the butt to paint, and especially the hand paint. So you're probably definitely, if you want to paint this up and make it look right, you're going to have to invest in some spray paint or an airbrush to make this look good, I would say. Again, beam rifle has the same problem as the machine gun in the hands. It doesn't really like to have a very good grip on this. Let's try to do this one-handed here. Yeah, there we go, and the hand came off while I was doing that. And it's just, yeah, there we go. There we go. Limp-wristed hand holding again. Try and fix this, and the hand comes off again. It's just like, all right, moving on from handheld things, we have the shield here. Now, the shield here is pretty interesting. It's not quite as simple as it looks here. Now, this can be used to brace down and support the cannon with this little additional brace piece here, which I'll show you in a bit here. But it does have this little swivel attachment holder handle thingy on the back here. One side has a little peg for hooking into the arm right here. So you can have this held on the arm if I can get it. There we go. This kind of snaps in there and you can hold it on the arm. No problem there. It's not going to fall off. It's on there pretty well. Now the other thing you can do is have it held by the hand here, which actually works pretty well. Better than holding the guns, I would say. And basically you want to flip this up, flip that around so you can see this little handle here. Flip it down, flush back against the back of the shield. And what you want to do here is just, you want to open the hand up a little bit, and you want to just kind of, it's basically a little slide-on clip. You just slide it right on, like so, onto the fingers, and it's on there. Again, not going to fall off. It's not going to go limp on you like the guns will. So Ben actually did a pretty good job with that, I would say. So yeah. All right, now onto the big accessory that comes with this kit, and this is the backpack here. As you can see, there's stuff inside of here. Now, get this on the back of the ground type Gundam here. You want to make sure this is opened up. This is up like so. And this is just going to basically just kind of pop right in like so. We just kind of line, there's some tabs on the back you kind of want to line up with and just kind of wedge it in there. Make sure everything kind of clips into place on it like so. And voila, you have a backpacker Gundam now. You do have to kind of balance him a little bit in order to pose, because he does get a little bit back heavy with that on there. No surprise there. So you don't want him leaning too far back, otherwise he will fall backwards a little bit here. But it's a really neat accessory here. I do like this. I mean, it's actually big enough that you can actually put several things inside of here if you want. So, but let me open this up and show you actually what is in here right now. Alright, so inside of this opens up like so. You want to pull the top open first and then pull this kind of forward just a little bit. And actually, instead of pulling this forward, you want to actually come to the bottom here and just push this forward a little bit till it clicks like so. And then you can just pop that down. And inside you have some weapons. Now this kit was basically one of three variations on this suit here. The other variations was the Easy 8, which comes with a bazooka, and the ground type Gundam, which comes with the missile launcher, and a beam sniper rifle too, as well. But the regular ground type Gundam comes with the folding, this multi-purpose cannon that's inside the backpack. Let me pull all the pieces out. There's actually a little tray in here, if I can just get to slide out a little bit. It slides out, but sometimes it's kind of hard to get. I think you have to take stuff out first. But basically, there are 5 parts of the gun here. They're all inside of here on this little tray that's right here in the middle, kind of hold them all. And you have the magazine is right here on the door. Let me take all that off here. So this is a pretty neat looking cannon here, I would say. You do have this lower pit here, and this piece goes on top of it like so. Put these together. Go like that, and then you have the 2 barrel pieces. One barrel piece will go inside here. I'll line that up, and the end piece with the muzzle brake will go on the end like so. And then you have the magazine, goes right on top. And now you have this large, long handheld cannon for the ground type Gundam. Pretty neat looking. I think this is a pretty nice looking weapon here. Don't you think? Okay, so and here he is in the classic kneeling down and firing pose. Now this was basically the pose for the ground type Gundam, as you can see here, and it actually does a pretty decent job of doing the kneeling down and firing pose. It does, I mean, the torso does kind of lean upward, tends to go upwards a bit in this pose, but I mean, it's okay. I mean, it still looks natural and realistic, I would say here. There is a little side support handle that kind of comes out of the cannon here, but again, with these hands and that terrible wrist, it's really hard to get the hand on there properly. So just gonna have to kind of fiddle around with it and do your best with it, I would say. Now I did mention there is this other piece that goes on the shield here. This is basically a support piece. It basically hooks into the top of the shield, and if you want to have like the cannon balanced on top of the shield for some reason, you can use this brace here. Basically that will just clip onto the front of the shield here, and then you can have the... Alright, so you can do something that's kind of more like this if you prefer to use the shield to brace the cannon up. I'm not going to bother trying to get the hand back on the handle again. It just keeps falling off when I do that, but you can go for this pose if you want. So, I mean, you do have some options for some different posing options with this kit, which is really nice. And with all the different weapons, there's a lot of different things you can do with this kit, I would say, posing-wise, and just trying to create like different scenes and everything with this kit. It's actually really good for that. And not quite to forget, then you do get your beam sabers, a beam saber handle. You get 2 red beam saber blades, and this is probably the only weapon which I think this kit can actually hold on to very well. So yeah, I mean, if the kit has problem holding a beam saber, I mean, yeah, I think there's probably some big problems with it. But no, in this case, yeah, it can hold the beam saber pretty well, just fine. And lastly, let's not forget, you do get a Shiro Amada figure, standing figure, and there is a pilot figure too you get for this kit. I just don't have it in there. This one's kind of off color because this is actually from the Ground Gym kit, not the one that comes with this kit. I can't find the one that actually came with this kit. It's like long gone, lost to the winds of time. So, but I do have this one here, which is Shiro Amada, and you get this with the Ground Gym. So if for some reason you're missing that, yeah, there's always another opportunity to get this figure again. Alright guys, so I tried to kind of get this guy into a little bit of a pose here for the end here with you here, and basically with the shield and the beam rifle there. Again, it's kind of a hassle to get him to hold the beam rifle straight, because of that terrible hand on this. So But I mean, overall, I still think this is probably a pretty good older master grade. I mean, the only problem is that the articulation, I kind of wish could be better with it. And I really wish it had some better hands, because that's really kind of the worst part of this kit. So getting down to scores here, I think detail-wise, this is still a very good-looking kit overall, so I would give it an 8 out of 10. There are some areas where some detail painting could certainly help this kit and make it look a little bit more accurate, but I mean, it's not really it doesn't really break the kit, I would say. So pretty good overall here. Articulation, this was probably one of the most articulate master grades that came out around the time, and it kind of broke some new ground and kind of paved the way towards, I would say, more the intermediate level of articulation in master grade kits here. I mean, this is one of the first kits with some actual internal frame detail to it here. I mean, I can't really show you here, but maybe I'll have some pictures that I'll show you. But I mean, overall, it's okay. But I think the big, like I've mentioned repeatedly throughout this review, the big problem are the hands and the wrist on this thing. They're just terrible. So really, so yeah. But this will get a 6 out of 10 on the articulation score from me, so it's good, but there are areas where it could be definitely improved. So now on to extras. Now this is probably this kit's strongest area, and I would give it a 9 out of 10 on the extras alone, just because there's a lot of stuff here to work with. I mean, you got a beam rifle, you get a machine gun, a nice looking beam rifle, you get the ammo magazines, you get the multi-piece cannon that goes in the backpack, and the backpack goes in the back of the Gundam. And you also have the nice looking little melee shield that can be handheld or be put on the wrist, however you want. And you got beam sabers. So it pretty much has everything you would really want out of this kit. Now, if you do want to have the bazooka or the missile launcher, you will have to get the other two kits that are kind of related to this kit, the ground gem and the Easy 8. Missile launcher comes with the ground gem, and the rocket launcher comes with the Easy 8. So if you want those, you'll have to get those two kits. So again, this will be a 9 out of 10 on the extras for me here. So definitely some good stuff here. Could use a little bit of detail painting, but it's not really a big deal to me. So at the end of this year, we got the value score. This kit came out in May of 2000 and retailed for 3,000 yen, which is really not that expensive here. 3,000 yen in today's exchange rate is only about $26 or so. But again, always if you're living in the West, expect to pay a little bit more here. But I probably wouldn't go for I probably wouldn't pay like over 35 or 40 for this kit here. It's old and there's just some issues with it, but it's still a good looking kit though. So it's probably still worth maybe around 35 or 30 or so, I'd say. But the other options for this particular kit in particular, there is the high grade Universal Sentry kit of the Ground Gundam, which came out back in 2007. And I took a look at some pictures of it off of DeLong, just to kind of get a good idea of how that kit compared to the Master Grade. And I gotta be honest here, the high grade Universal Sentry actually looks to be a bit better overall than the Master Grade. The articulation is comparable on it, and it actually has some better shoulder articulation from what I can tell, and it has fixed pose hands which can hold the weapons properly, so that's a big plus. So, and detail wise, it looks to be roughly on par with the Master Grade. So if you like the Ground Gundam, you just want a good kit that you don't have to fuss with or anything, the high grade Universal Sentry probably looks like to be the way to go. It's about half the price of this at 1,500 yen, so that is something to consider. But if you want a 1/100 scale version of the Ground Gundam, you have to kind of go with the Master Grade for now, that is. So at the end of this year, the Ground type Gundam Master Grade will get a 30 out of 40 for me. So it still makes it an okay Master Grade. I mean, it's just kind of borderline, in that rough borderline area where it's between a great Master Grade and just being sort of a mediocre Master Grade to me. So, but part of that is kind of due to the age of this kit here. I mean, I still think the kit looks good overall. That's still the strong point, and of course it has lots of extras. Again, that's another strong point for this kit. Downside is that articulation could be better, and you have to mess with these really fussy hands and wrist on this kit. They're just terrible. This kind of leads me to my point I kind of want to end on with this review here. The ground type Gundam is one of my personal kits that I really want to see a 2.0 master grade of. And mainly for the reasons I outlined in this review. Articulation could be so much better. There's a lot of opportunity for better articulation in this kit. And I really want the hands replaced on this thing. They are terrible. They are some of the worst hands on a master grade kit. Barring the ones on the original master grade Gundam, which were pretty bad too. But these ones, they just can't really hold their weapons very well. I mean, it's just so unstable. And I personally think this kit really does deserve an update, and there's so much opportunity for variants of this kit if Bandai were to do a 2.0 update on this kit. So, but I mean, that's just my personal wish list there. I'm sure other people have their opinions on which kit should be a 2.0 before this one, so you are entitled to your opinion. But if I had my choice of what would be a next 2.0 master grade, it would be this guy right here. So but anyway, that's going to be it for the review here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this here, and look forward to the next review and videos because they are going to be something exciting. So anyway, guys, leave a like if you liked the video. Have any comments or questions, leave them below. And be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, because there's always more stuff coming. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.